I've heard a lot of people already say, well, you already know exactly what he is. He's a backup quarterback. Now, I'm more inclined to think he's a backup quarterback, right? You'd think out of most of the things he showed us, set the floor there as a backup quarterback. But, he's played 3 games. I think that there's a lot of people who right now want to go through and jump to conclusions on here's what Dillon Gabriel actually is. Right? And this is all we've seen, and it's all we're going to see. Guys, break down what you've seen out of the kid so far. It's game 1, is his game 1, is a start in London where he looked okay. I'm not going to say he looked incredible. He looked fine. He did enough for you to win that game. The defense pretty much blew it at the end. He went out there, didn't score a ton, but allowed the defense to play through. Obviously did not have a good game against Pittsburgh. Not going to make an argument that he did, but it was a bad game. As you would expect a rookie quarterback to play a bad game or two. That is an expectation that should be there. And then again, on Sunday, you win 31-6, and it feels like Dillon did what was asked of him. Don't turn the ball over, complete a lot of the short stuff. Sure, you missed a couple of throws. Like you to be more consistent, more accurate. Definitely things to work on, but it wasn't bad. We've seen 3 games, and by the way, in a rainstorm, but we've seen 3 games of Dillon Gabriel where he's just looked okay. I think making up your mind 3 games in on a quarterback is just something you can't do. If you're going to tell me he has no chance to be a franchise quarterback and you're wasting your time experimenting with Dillon Gabriel, tell me that after 6 games. I'll buy it a little bit more. If he looks like the exact same quarterback in another 3, we come out after the bye and you get 2 games in and you go, it looks like the same guy that started against the Vikings. Because in a lot of ways, I think he looked very similar to the guy that started against the Vikings on Sunday. Then it's, okay, well, I don't know that this is his ceiling, but it's clearly not getting better fast. And you need to see the improvements quickly right now. You're in a sped up process. It's yeah, sure, after about 6 games, I might be willing to hear we've seen enough of Dillon Gabriel for this season. Again, if it looks the exact same, if he improves, he probably buys himself a little bit more of a runway. But at that point, I get it. I just don't know an NFL quarterback that people really have properly made up their mind after 3 games. Unless he was just straight bad. If he was just a horrible quarterback, sure. There's a lot of ways that you can make up. I'm sure a lot of people had watched really a fair share. You probably watched Josh Rosen. You might have watched Marcus Russell and been 3 games and been okay, that's enough of that. Clearly not a good quarterback. I watched 3 games of Johnny Manziel and definitely had my case made up on what Johnny was. I just don't think Dillon's given you enough of the bad to make it feel like it's worth giving up on him at this point. Again, there has to be a little bit of leeway for these guys where you give them an opportunity to actually go out and do something. But Joe Hayden was on the station earlier, and I thought I made a very quick remark on what Dillon Gabriel is.
From what I've seen, no. I think he can be a guy. I think he's worth being on a roster for sure. There's plenty of good, but I don't think he's not a franchise guy. I don't think he showed me ability to be a franchise quarterback. Not yet, not to date. I'm still giving him the more opportunity. He's only started 3 games, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, he hasn't turned the ball over, but he hasn't thrown these they hasn't done too much either. So I think he can be a starter, but I don't think he's a franchise quarterback, and that's not a shot because there's not too many guys that are really those dudes that are worth making $60 million a year.
So, but this is the part that's interesting to me. It's and I made this comparison earlier this week when we were talking. It's Dillon Gabriel gives very similar vibes like Brock Purdy. Now, that's not a guy that I would want to pay the $50, $60 million price tag for that, well, the 49ers did go ahead and pay and probably are kicking themselves a little bit right now watching Mac Jones be successful. But, it's not a guy I'd want to go out there and pay a ton of money to have. But at the same time, he's a guy that's capable of making that money and capable of winning football games in San Fran. But I'll make the exact same point. Look at the guys that are playing around him. Yeah, Brock Purdy's successful when you put Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle with him. I don't think Brock Purdy would probably be successful with Jerry Jeudy, Quinshawn, even though he's good, and David Njoku. That's not exactly the same level of talent that we're talking about. You have a lesser offensive line as well. You put a quarterback like that behind, just good pieces that can go and make the plays for him. It can work. I'm not saying he's a franchise quarterback, but he can be a quarterback for you. He can be a guy that can earn a contract. You might not want to pay him $50, $60 million a year, but if you pay him less than that, and ink him to a long-term deal might be something that can be worth it for you. But that comes with having the pieces around you. So, like, again, I think if you sit here and are like, Dillon can't be a starter in this league and can't be a guy that can start every single game, I haven't seen much to tell me that that's not possible. Because he's pretty much sat there and emulated what Brock Purdy has been able to do. Now, Brock has the big playability too, which we've yet to see out of Dillon Gabriel, and we're going to have to see out of the next 3 weeks. If he's capable of doing it, they give me very similar vibes of quarterbacks. I just think making up your minds right now, you're doing Dillon Gabriel a disservice, you're doing the Browns a disservice. Like, we're not to the point where it's go see Shedeur Sanders time. We don't know what Dillon Gabriel is. And right now, probably, I mean, based on what we've seen out of Shedeur, probably gives you the best chance to win. He's certainly the safest option. Certainly probably gives you the best opportunity to let the defense go win you games. Again, I need to see improvement out of Dillon. It's not just a bypass. He's doing everything correct. But you just haven't seen enough bad out of him either, I don't think. Yeah, I haven't seen him turn the ball over. As much as that is, kind of indicative of the Browns' offense right now, still a good sign. Like, that's still something that a very big positive for Dillon Gabriel is that he's not shooting you in the foot. He's allowing the defense to go out there and make plays. It's a big thing right now. Like, the time for Shedeur, I imagine, will come. Again, I don't have a ton of faith in Dillon, but I'm not going to rip that opportunity out from under him. I'm not going to just fully make up my mind and say there's no chance and we're just wasting our time not starting Shedeur. I think you got to give a guy a little bit of rope. You draft him in the third round, he's a rookie. You do that for a reason. Even if it is, at the end of the day, he's going to be a backup quarterback, you got to give him the opportunity to prove that he's not anything more. And I don't think he's had that opportunity through 3 games. I don't think that is enough of a window based on the 3 games that you played in the conditions around them to just rule him out and say that's all it is. If there's somebody else in this position, and specifically, let's just throw out the idea that this is Shedeur Sanders and through 3 games, I mean, repeat the product 1 for 1 if that's the way it looked. I guarantee you the fan base would not have their mind made up on Shedeur Sanders. Like, that is 1,000%. And honestly, some people might be delusional to the point where it's made up the other way, and it's like, guys, look at him. He's got no offensive line. He's got no weapons around him. Sure, everything's short, but like, he's making do. He's trying to help you win a football game, and it'd be made up the other way. Now, those people are delusional, but if you're just assuming, and I get it, like, Dillon's, 25, 24? Like, he's one of the oldest rookies that we've ever actually encountered other than, like, Brandon Weeden. Like, we're talking about an older rookie quarterback that took the traditional route of college straight to the NFL. Like, is there less of a ceiling there? I would think so. Like, that's the evaluation I had pre-draft. But at some point, if you're just allowing your pre-draft idea to dictate, here's what the quarterback can be and will be, like, then why are we even playing out the season? Like, if you felt like there was no ceiling there for Dillon Gabriel in the first place, guys, I don't think he'd be playing right now. If the belief in the room was that there's no ceiling for Dillon Gabriel, he probably wouldn't be in the game. There has to be some level of belief that Dillon can turn it around and can look like a franchise quarterback. So, like, again, if you're just using the preconceived notion you have on the 2 quarterbacks to validate it, it's like, okay, but if you're going to give one rookie enough of a leash that I'm talking 6 games for Shedeur or 6 games for Dillon Gabriel, like, that should be an even amount. Like, if you're telling me you want to see more Shedeur after 6 games than you would want to see after Dillon after 6 games, I think you have a better argument. Like, again, you have a sample size. Yeah, if the ceiling doesn't look great and Dillon looks like the same quarterback, again, the ceiling does not feel as high with Dillon Gabriel. I get it. But, like, 3 games is not enough to project out what a quarterback looks like. If you use 3 games, and I get these are very different circumstances, I'm not making the 1-to-1 comparison, but just the idea that if you use 3 games to judge Josh Allen would be sitting on a bench somewhere playing in Canada right now, tearing up the CFL. Like, you just don't, you're not able to make that evaluation after 3 games, no matter who the quarterback is. You don't watch 3 games of anybody play any sport and go, I already know fully what this guy can be. Again, you hand him 6 games, you hand him a third of a season, like, okay, right, could I be wrong on this? Could there be more to get from him? Sure, there can. There could always be more. That he could just, need more development. He could need more time to showcase it. He could just need better weapons around him. It could all be true. But again, I'm in a shortened amount of time that I have to evaluate the quarterbacks. I get it. But you still have more time. Like, Joe only got The small sample size that they were able to give him of 4 games before you moved on. Pretty much everybody thought Joe was going to get a bigger leash than that. And had Joe actually shown anything on the field, he would have gotten a bigger leash than that. But you're already sped up, and we're talking about, heading into week 8. There's already people that think they know what they have in Dillon Gabriel, and they'd be starting Shedeur after the bye. It's like, okay, now we're talking 8 games of football. We're talking a half of a season for Shedeur Sanders. Guys, the bad part of it is if Shedeur isn't ready and Shedeur doesn't look good, you're going to have 8 miserable games that really aren't going to help anybody. Shedeur playing might not be the best thing in the world, but it feels like a lot of preconceived ideas for me when we talk about the quarterback, that a lot of people like to use their pre-draft analysis of these two guys to then go out and basically try to make the decisions on the field when they're happening. At the end of the day, the Browns told you they felt like Dillon Gabriel is a better quarterback than Shedeur. And if we're talking about what I think they thought of the two quarterbacks, I'm assuming they thought that the floor was much higher with Dillon Gabriel, and they liked the way that he'd be able to run the offense, and Shedeur was a lottery ticket. He was in the 5th round, a high ceiling, but had a lot of things to work on. Again, that's not a guy that you probably hand half of a season to in his first year in the NFL. We've gone through those experiments. They never end up going well. So I just don't see the problem, but you can't just make up your mind for one guy and not the other one. They are 2 rookie quarterbacks coming into the NFL. They are both trying to prove themselves. I think if you want to make the analysis of, hey, I drafted this guy before the other one, or I think he has a higher ceiling, you want to tell me that idea of a pre-draft thought process on a guy? Yeah, of course, it makes sense. You're going to make pre-draft thought process. It's how we go through and we draft players. But once you take those into the season, it's like you kind of let the player go prove himself. The pre-draft thought process on Cam Skadaboo is that there's a lot better running backs out there than Skadaboo was. Looks pretty good in New York right now. There's guys that have looked better than him this year, but not many. I would take Quinshawn over Cam. But there's a couple of guys that certainly went higher that I would not have taken. The idea was Caleb Johnson was better. If you would have just used the idea, Caleb Johnson would have a longer rope right now, basically, than Cam Skadaboo would, and that doesn't make any sense. And it is weird that is the flipped idea that Dillon was drafted earlier by the team. You would think there's more faith there, but the fan base obviously feels the other way, and I understand that. I also, in some degrees, feel the other way. I would probably rather test things out with Shedeur than I would test things out with Dillon. As much as I would love to see more Shedeur Sanders, you think about it from a logical standpoint, and you don't just run this thing based off of pure emotion, but in what you think the team would think. And this makes all of the sense in the world. Nobody has a true idea, and the team would obviously not feel like they have a true idea of what Dillon Gabriel is. And we heard Lance say that he really doesn't feel like he has a good gauge on what he is, and probably wouldn't, even if he played out the entirety of the year. Probably wouldn't feel like he has a true evaluation on Dillon Gabriel. And I think given the circumstances that you have, the team you have built around him, I don't know how you can go through and really feel like you do have an evaluation on him. It's not an argument to give Dillon the whole year. It's not an argument to give Shedeur the whole year. More so probably a testament to the fact that trying to figure out if you have a franchise quarterback within one season while you're starting a 40-year-old to start the year, probably not a trustworthy process. That's probably not the best way to go about things. But it again rolls back to the idea of you're taking 2 rookie quarterbacks and going down an unfair treatment route to one because of what you personally think on the quarterback. Again, I'm looking for a quarterback to play his way out of the job. If Dillon had done that through 3 weeks, it would have had to have looked like Joe had played in the first 4. That's what playing yourself out of a job very quickly would look like. You just look like you're not prepared at all for it. The offense has looked better under Dillon, certainly than it has under Joe. And quite frankly, while the offense hasn't looked great, it has had some life, and you can see the pieces around him not doing the work for him. I just think you have to have a bigger window for it. You have to have a little bit more leeway with a guy that you are at least trying to find out. Best case scenario is that Dillon Gabriel is your franchise quarterback and he looks incredible, right? I think everybody can agree on that. If you never have to see Shedeur for the best reasons, a steal of a pick for the Browns in the draft, we all feel really good about it. Part of it does come, yes, again, we need to expand what we're seeing out of Dillon. You can't continue to just keep throwing the ball short. That's not a franchise quarterback level. If you do that for 3 more weeks, I don't care if you win the next 4 games. I've seen enough. right? Like, I don't have anything there. You might be my quarterback for a little bit because I'm winning games and stacking wins on top of each other. But in terms of you getting paid next year, that doesn't really matter to me. Like, I'm still going to draft a quarterback whether you're winning or not because I'm going for high-level talent there. My thought process is that I'm getting a franchise-level talent. So unless you're showing me those things and unless it's not just the defense carrying me to wins, it's not going to keep you your job. And again, it's where I think, and we talked about this with Michael during Change Your Mind on Wednesday night, it's where I feel like you almost need the mentality of Shedeur to infect Dillon Gabriel in some ways. Like, the thought process is probably going to be really similar with Shedeur Sanders, that you're going to try to keep the ball short. You're not going to try to extend it down the field. The messaging from Kevin Stefanski, I will imagine, among the quarterback room is going to be very similar. The difference is, I don't think that Shedeur is just going to sit there and basically take every order that's given to him and follow it to a T. Shedeur is going to go out there and be a quarterback that tries to see the field his way and make some throws that probably makes Kevin Stefanski cringe, but there's going to be a level of those that work out. And it was the exact same thing with Baker Mayfield. I don't think that Kevin would agree with every decision Baker made and was still the quarterback that he almost got to an AFC championship with. Like, Baker, for the better in a lot of ways, would go out and extend plays and try to make a play with his arm. I don't know that you still feel that exact same way. I don't know that Dillon has that in him. I don't know that Dillon isn't just going to be, I mean, in a lot of ways, a yes man of, hey, Kevin, you want to keep the ball short? We'll just keep throwing the ball short. I'll execute the game plan in front of me. So good quality in a quarterback, but I think you also need some of the other. Of a little bit of pushback, and I'm going to see the field my own way. If I think I can make a play, I'm going to go out and make it. And not just check the ball down and protect it and try to give my defense a chance to win. Again, if you're just shooting for wins this year, Dillon Gabriel might be your best chance from start to finish. If it is Kevin's game plan has legitimate truth to it, Quinshawn looks really good, the defense can keep you in games and win you games, Dillon Gabriel might be the quarterback that gives you the best chance to win every single week. The problem is, even if you have the best chance to win every week, I don't know how many games that you're putting on the board. I don't know how many times you walk away with a win just given your best opportunity. Like, you're going to have to make plays the same way that I need my defense to make plays. There has to be a little give and take there. Like, the offense has to be able to, probably check down some plays, run on some third and longs, allow the defense to keep it in, while also bolstering them with big plays in scoring of their own. The defense won the game on Sunday. The offense didn't look that great. But you're going to have to go through it and see some of that. And that's what Dillon needs to show over the next 3 weeks, whether it's Kevin telling him he needs to do it, whether it's Kevin allowing the playbook to open up and allowing him to try out more things, or Dillon just going out there and flat out doing it. Something has to change. But again, if this was Shedeur Sanders, I don't think anybody would be in the same mindset.